Welcome, Geeks fandom. It's your boy, the Squid from the East, the one and only Squid the Beast. We are back on the podcast. We have an interviewee today. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, what's going on? My name is John Robinson, the fourth, aka Scarrets, aka Fourth Wall online. So that's IVWall. So if you see that anywhere, it's probably me.
All right, cool. So introduce what you do for the
All right.
people watching today that don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm a writer, mainly of comics. I write all kinds of things in all mediums, but primarily comics right now, at least. And I'm also a podcaster, so I have a writing-based podcast called Beyond the Fourth Wall of Writing, where I interview writers about their craft, about how they do their writing. In addition, I also run a writers chat every week via Twitter Spaces on Wednesday, 6 Eastern Standard Time, and yeah, those are really good. Like the one last night, man. I mean, y'all don't know that one was fire. so yeah, definitely if you guys want to get basically some writing knowledge, some writing inspiration, come out to the writers chat on Wednesday on Twitter. But yeah, that's what I do primarily. My main book right now is Scorpio, which is currently on Kickstarter. It's in the final days. We're in the final hours now. We're counting down. But yeah, we've been doing very well. We've funded, and that Kickstarter is collecting issues 1 through 3. So for those of you who've been following me over the years, I did 1, 2, and then this is now the release of 3, and also the collection of 3 in a single 1 through 3 in a single edition. So good jumping on point for anybody out there.
Yeah, sounds really dope.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
so for those I don't know, y'all already know who I am. But if y'all don't, my name is Squid. I do Pokemon content, a lot of streams on Twitch, and I do a variety of games as well. But this is not about me, it's about him. So we're going to get right into it with the questions. So question number 1, what brought about the notion of Scorpio?
Yeah. So the concept is kind of interesting. So everybody knows the zodiac, right? Everybody has at least heard of the zodiac. It's a pretty universal thing, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of have like a mystical attachment to the zodiac in a way. I mean, some more loosely than others. Like everybody's not all super into it, but we kind of have that feeling like, okay, yeah, I am whatever my sign is, a Leo, and okay, so it means that I'm or others at least, even if I'm not into it, others may say that I'm predisposed to these types of or these personality types or personality traits or whatever, right? So that concept plus the idea of horoscopes in general gives it kind of a mystical element in the real world. And I was kind of thinking like, well, what if I take that real world element, right, and I apply a more even more mystical aspect to it, like in a comic book, which is exactly what I did. Everybody in the book, or all the signs, each sign has a relic, and those relics bestow an ability to the holder of that relic, which is of course more than we have in the real world.
Unfortunately,
I don't think I see anybody blowing fire being a Leo or with a shadow blade if you're a Scorpio,
that'd
but yeah, it would. So but yeah, that's where the base concept came from. Yeah.
Okay, and what sign are you and what's your relic?
Yeah, so I'm definitely Scorpio.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely Scorpio. A lot of people come up, and that's one of the first questions they ask. They go, you're writing a book called Scorpio. You a Scorpio? Like, yeah, man.
All right.
So I'm a Scorpio, and my relic is the Sword of Shadows, right? So it's basically a blade where it looks kind of, think of like a lightsaber, right? It's just a hilt, but the blade is made of shadows instead. So yeah.
Oh, that's kind of lit. I'm kind of curious. What will be mine? I'm a Libra.
Libra, word. So Libra actually shows up in issue 2 of Scorpio. And Libra's relics are the scales, the Libra scales, and she holds them on her arm, kind of like Wonder Woman's bands. Yeah. So she holds they're on her arms like that, and it grants her the powers of creation and destruction. She can snap kill you like that, right? Sounds kind of overpowered, but she does have to use it in balance. So if she were to destroy something, she would have to create something of equal value, or vice versa. If she wanted to create something, she would have to destroy something to be able to do that. So it's there is that kind of a limit. If she doesn't, then she can risk killing herself. So she's kind of got and she's the leader too. Like in
Oh,
terms of like the characters in the book, in terms of the organization that protects these relics, she's the
mhm.
leader of all of them. So yeah.
Natural born leader. Okay, natural born leader. All right, all right,
Word,
all right,
word, yeah.
all right. So that's dope. That sounds amazing. I would love that in real life, but it happens. Life is boring, unfortunately. All right. So between your podcast and Scorpio, any two advice or life hack you would suggest for people starting out with their own products, such as podcasts, starting out writing a book, or anything such of that nature?
Right, right. So I'm gonna start writing, then I'm gonna go to the podcast part.
Okay.
So the writing part. First of all, write prose first. I don't mean write prose like regularly. You don't have to like write for a long time. I just mean write a prose thing. If it's just a short story that's 500 words, do that. But the reason why I say that is before you jump in any other medium, you want to start with the basics. There's nothing more basic than paper and pencil, or I mean, it could be computer, obviously.
Yeah.
It could be fingers and word processor. That's fine.
Mhm.
But you want to start with just words before you jump over into the world of, all right, I want to write screenplay. Don't get me wrong, you can write a screenplay. I'm not saying that you can't jump into that immediately after writing your first piece of prose. But if you're
Mhm.
brand new and you want to write, I highly recommend just your story with just your words. Screenplay. The reason why is because like in screenplays or comics, for example, you're now thinking about a billion other things. You're writing a screenplay, even though it's not your job, it's the director's job to to play scene, to direct actors and stuff like that. You're going to be thinking about it regardless when you're writing your screenplay, right? So
True.
that it just adds in another element to think about versus if you're writing a novel or a short story, you've got what you're focusing on is just the story. You know what I mean? um some people don't fully agree with that advice. um but the caveat to my advice is you don't have to write a full novel or anything like that before you kick off. You don't have to be published. You don't have to publish that written thing either. It's just to get you comfortable with the process of telling stories, you know. Yeah, yeah.
Get your feet wet a little bit before you
Right.
go take a bath, right?
Right,
Something
exactly,
like that.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then so the podcasting thing, for podcasts, I highly recommend. Well, first of all, you want to get your equipment down. Make sure that's together. I mean, nowadays, let's be real. I have to be 100% honest. Uh, iPhones are actually pretty decent at recording. I'm not recommending you use an iPhone to do your podcast, but I am saying that you'd be surprised how good your if you
True. True.
know how to engineer a little bit. Yo, iPad can do some work. You know what I mean?
True. I'm not a big
But
fan of iPhones, but you're right. 100%.
right, right. Oh yeah, me neither. Me neither. But the mic on it, like it actually works. Matter of fact, I've recorded things aside from my phone. I've recorded things at conventions with my Android phone, and this is with I tried it with a mic before at conventions, and the extra mic that I had was actually not as good as the native Android recorder app, right? So like, I mean, you can actually start a podcast with just basic something as basic as your phone. Now, I do highly recommend you upgrade to get like a Snowball, then later on like a Yeti, something like that in terms of your mic.
Mhm.
But take note of that. Do some a little bit of studying on sound engineering. There's a free program out there, Audacity. You could do some basic sound engineering. There's a few videos out there. You'll probably get some kid trying to be a rapper. Ignore the rapping part. Just just listen to him talk about the engineering part, because they will. It does give you some pretty good insight.
On my
Uh,
mixtape, thanks.
and then lastly, for the actual podcast itself, be specific with your content. Like be specific with what you're trying to get at, and then have your specific what is it segments, have segments
Segment.
laid out. Yeah, so even if it is, say you have a podcast and you want to talk about like anime and comics and whatever, that's fine. That it's a little bit more broad, it's fine, but you want to make sure you do it in segments. And so have a comic segment, so for 15 minutes you're talking about just comics, and then cut it off and then talk about anime. You know what I mean? So like it's kind of like just having that discipline, because let me tell you, I've been at the stages where we just ramble on podcasts, and man.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been there too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but those are the things that I would recommend for those the writing and podcasting. Yeah.
All right, neat. I mean, the rambling thing, we do that darn near every episode, but we're starting to get a little better at that
Yeah,
now.
and a little bit of that is fine because it's like natural content. You know what I mean? Like there should
Mhm.
always be a little bit of room for just some, but just having like the I guess the structure in place,
Yeah,
you kind of know that at some point, all right, we got to cut this off and move on to the next thing.
yeah, true. All right, thank you for that. Now, question 3. If you can go back in time and see yourself as a child, what is the number one piece of advice you would give yourself?
Oh man.
I told
It's
you we're
kind
gonna
of
get
funny.
deep.
Yo, this is we had a therapy session last night at during the writers chat because the writers
Mhm.
chat topic was imposter syndrome.
Uh,
And
mm,
let me tell you, but one of the things that came up and one of the things I mentioned was actually exactly this. Um, and I think I would tell myself, first of all, like first of all, chill, you're all right. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry about life. You're gonna be all right. Like you're
don't
gonna
worry so
figure it out.
much. Just take it
Right.
easy.
Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry, take it easy. But number two, bro, get off of that game. Like the number of years I wasted in my late teens, I mean, that's something like 19, in the early 20s, like 20, 21, whatever, playing freaking MMORPGs. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a great experience. I mean, I met some friends who I'm still friends with now. Like, it was like, you know, it was crazy. I had my MMORPG phase and it was great. Um, but it was also very non-productive. Like I was doing nothing but playing this game. I wasn't focused, like college wise, I wasn't like really focused. Um, like I would just say to myself, like, yo, be honest with what you are, first of all. You know what I mean? Um,
True.
that being writing, number one. That's one thing. And then number two, IT. I work in IT now. But number two, IT. At the time, my major was in IT when I was in college, which is sounds crazy. Like, why wasn't my I knew it should have been. It wasn't like I figured it out later. I was building computers
Mhm.
since I was a kid. But but yeah, I did not go IT. So I would have been like, yo, just go IT, first of all. Second of all, write. Third of all, just play a little bit less games. You know what I mean? Like maybe balance. You can still play the games, but balance it
Balance it
out with,
out. Got
yeah,
you.
with some productivity.
What game was it?
The MMO I was playing at the time was City Heroes.
Ah,
City
okay.
of Heroes. Oh yeah, I was all the way. I mean, I played like other stuff too. I played like WoW. World of Warcraft, Champions that come out at the
Mhm.
time. I think a little bit later Star Wars online came out, but I was mainly playing City Heroes like crazy, dog. Like it was wild.
Mm. Yeah, it'd be like that. Everybody had that one game. Me as Pokemon. But
Yep, yep.
all right. Question number 4. This one is a two-parter. So first of all, I would like to know your definition of happiness, like being happy.
So I think being happy is first of all, you got to figure out what you want, right? Like figure out
Mhm.
the things that you want. Um, you have to in some ways put yourself first. That may sound kind of sacrilegious, right? Because you should
Uh,
always help others. You really should always help others. That is true, but
mhm.
not so much that you neglect yourself, right?
Right.
Remember to put yourself first sometimes. And that means also, okay, so the major point I'm trying to get at with this happiness thing, because I'm about to ramble, the major point I'm trying to get at is to be happy, figure out what you want, and then get rid of the people who are impeding what you want. That getting rid of toxic people is probably the single most important thing in freaking life, dog. I'm not even joking. Like
Mm.
when you get rid of toxic people, it's like you can breathe. Like it's no matter who those toxic people are, whether it's family or friends. Family, try to work with family, but like especially like people that are not family. Oh yeah, drop them, yo. Like you
Yeah,
gotta you
yeah.
gotta move on. You gotta move on. But
Like too toxic for me right now. Right
I
now, we
I think you
cool, but
right. I think you could be happy if you get rid of those people and you figure out what you want. I won't say happiness is necessarily having what you want because I don't know if that's really true.
yeah,
Um,
true.
I think it's knowing what you want and then knowing that you have a path. Because when you know what you want, then you can kind of form a path towards that thing, right?
Hmm.
So I think that's kind of, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of other things that can dampen our world,
Yeah,
but I think having that for ourselves, knowing ourselves is a big part of being happy.
All right. The second part, are you happy at the moment with how things are going for you at the moment?
Uh, yeah, yeah, I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I think I could generally say, especially like I think so. Every time I like, it's all I guess not every time as I age,
Hmm.
and I look back at things and I go, man, I was really doing this, and I learned that maybe that wasn't the right thing to do, and it makes me happy to know that I learned. Like it makes me happy to learn things, right? So I learn things and then um act different accordingly, and that could be from small things like I don't know, fitness journey. All right, I learned that baby I should be eating less than 1,800 calories. Bam, I now know that. Now that I know that and I'm working at that and now I see results from that, I feel happy about that. You know what I mean? um
Exactly.
Up to like large things like knowledge of, you know, how economics in our country work, you know, like you
Ugh,
know, like any bit of I'm big on, maybe that's part of me being a writer. I'm big on knowledge. The more knowledge you have, maybe that's probably why knowledge makes you happy, right? The more knowledge you have, the better you can write, because the more confidently you can write about whatever, you know what I mean? um
exactly.
so yeah, I definitely like gaining knowledge. But in terms of happy, yeah, I think I'm pretty happy. I'm happy with what I've accomplished. I'm happy knowing that I have a path forward, like knowing what I want is a big deal. Like knowing that, hey, I like working at IT. I love that field. I know my job, and I know how to continue in my field. Same thing with writing. I know, like I know where I was at with writing. I'm happy that I'm here with writing, and I know that I can continue to go forward with writing. So like stuff like that is yeah, it brings some joy.
All right, cool. That's a nice little segue because the next question is in a 2 year period, where do you see
Right.
yourself with Scorpio and your podcast from now? Maybe we can get a yearly check in next year.
Right. Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. All right, so it was 2022, 22. All right, so with Scorpio, we're gonna have four pretty soon. I mean, four is not gonna be long after. The artist Marco, he's the pencil ink artist. We've already been talking. He's already working on the character stuff for four right now.
Okay.
And this is before three is even in your hand, so that's already like getting the jump start. And we got paused over the pandemic, and now he's like fully back on. So yeah, like so for Scorpio in general, four will definitely be in hands way sooner than three was, because three took a long time over the
Yeah,
pandemic.
okay.
um and then also, so I have other comic projects on the way. There's a comic project called Apex Hex that's coming. Magic based, mystical based comic.
Mm.
Very different from Scorpio. The world is super mystic. It is not our world at all. And Scorpio, the main character, starts off in LA, and Apex Hex is a whole different world.
Mm.
So we got, you know, elves and everything, you know. So we got a whole magical world. Not high fantasy though. It is current modern day fantasy. So think of, if it was modern day, you know, cars and everything and stuff like
Thing.
that. But instead of but magic is introduced instead of well, not really instead of anything, but magic is just the
Mm.
norm,
Annoying.
right?
Okay.
So, but it's not like old school horses and stuff. Like, yeah, we got, you know, we got cars and current day architecture and stuff like that.
Technology and all that.
Yeah, technology. Yeah. Like, yeah, you don't have anybody like rolling up a scroll. They'd be like, no, bro, get on the computer and look it up real quick. Like, uh, so that's that world. And then I have another book. Leo is coming. I've told people about Leo. Leo is the only book out of the Scorpio universe that is getting a one shot, or the only character of the Scorpio universe that is getting a one shot. A lot of people ask if we're gonna have a book called Virgo, Libra. No. It's all
Just Leo.
Scorpio. It's all under Scorpio. However, Leo is getting a 32 page one shot. So in case people don't know, 32 pages is extended. The average comic book size is 24. This one
Hmm.
is a little bit bigger, and it's going to feature basically the origin of Leo, and you're going to get him before he gets introduced into the main Scorpio book. So
Oh, so it's like a prelude to him.
right, exactly. Yep.
All right. So will any other characters be in that, or is mostly Leo, only Leo? Or
So yeah, the Leo character is going to be in there, but you will get some cameos from characters that you've already met. I won't name who they are yet, but
oh yeah,
you'll
leave that a surprise.
yeah, yes, there's gonna be some people that you know that show up in the book as well. But other than that, yeah, it's his story.
All right. Cool. Well, you said, well, you kind of answered this
Mhm.
question already, but
Mhm.
I can ask it again anyway. Has COVID made a big impact on Scorpio and your current podcast in a delay? And how?
Word. Yeah. So as far as like Scorpio, yeah, we had a delay because the artist got hit life wise. I think family wise he's good and everything, but like he had a family business and stuff like that, so that got like
Pushback.
that got hit, which took his time away from art and stuff like that. So he had to address that. Same thing on Viviana's side. She's the colorist. They had family stuff and stuff going on too. So we kind of like basically took a pause in the middle of the pandemic. As for the podcast actually grew because I mean we were all stuck at home, so everybody's just like, yo, let's jump on. Yeah, let's hop on and do this podcast. So I was calling all kinds of people. I got Justina Ireland on there, DJ Older, Claudia Gray, Charles Soule. Like these are known writers. And again, like I always say about the podcast, we're not just getting on them to interview them about their books. I let them know beforehand, like, hey, we're gonna get on this podcast and we're gonna talk about the craft. We're gonna talk about how to write and what your process is when you write. So yeah, we've had some, honestly, since 2020. So I think it officially started in 2020, and we've had some like some pretty good success on there. I mean, Joe Illidge on there. Joe Illidge is major milestone editor from way back. I say from way back, like he's not still editing to this day, editing or writing. But yeah. He's on there. He talks about the editing process in great detail. So yeah, we've had some pretty good people on there. Yeah.
Okay, so that kind of helped the podcast out a little bit. But...
Right. So like Scorpio kind of paused and the podcast kind of grew.
Okay, so it wasn't too bad. You had a balance there, so it wasn't too bad. All right. All right. Next question. 3 very important TV shows, cartoons, animes from your childhood.
Oh yeah. Oh man. So one of them was not exactly childhood. I'll just say younger years. But I gotta mention it either way. It's close to childhood. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Absolutely must mention that. Avatar: The Last Airbender is it's just like every time that I'm talking about building story, building plot, building character, that almost always has to come up. It's just so well done. And the fact that it's a kid's show, because so the reason why it being a kid's show is such a big deal is because people think in order for something to be good, it has to be like dark and gritty, and the stakes got to be somebody dying.
Right.
And and that's not the case. Barely, I don't think the stakes were ever anybody die. I mean, very rarely anybody dying in Airbender. I mean, like the threat of death was there, but like it wasn't like the real threat, right?
Yeah, only one person died off screen too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. True. Exactly. So like the threat, like the conflict that Aang was dealing with in that show wasn't death. It was, am I going to be captured and kept from being the avatar? And am I going to be kept from freeing people from the tyranny of the Fire Nation, or the tyranny of the Fire Nation, right?
I'm going to be able to master the elements in time, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Those were the stakes. I gotta have to find out, especially the fact that he had to find a Fire Master, and the Fire Nation is who they were fighting against. You know what I mean? So when it turned out to be Zuko, that was incredible character
big plot twist. Big plot twist.
Right. Zuko was the main antagonist in the starting season. So yeah, I mean, that show is just excellent. So that's one show. From childhood specifically.
Doesn't have to be from younger years. It doesn't have to be specifically from childhood, but one show that had a big impact.
Right.
So, X-Men show.
I gotta. So this one's not like a cartoon, or anime. But I gotta mention The Wire. Gotta mention The Wire. I was kind of in. How old was I when The Wire first hit? What year was that? 2000. I may have been like an older kid. I remember Idris Elba was real young, and I think I'm close to the same age as my boy who played Wallace. What's Killmonger's name again? Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
he was a kid in that. I'm trying to like how old I'm trying to gauge kind of his age to my age to figure out how old I was.
When did it come out?
I want to say 2002 maybe.
Yes, 2002.
Oh,
5
never.
seasons. Yeah.
Word. Yeah, so that's a good one right there. So the Wire is good because so it's like the opposite. It's good for you know what I just said about Avatar is like,
Avatar.
oh, it's not a, it's not dark and gritty. This is not really, I don't know if I would call it gritty, but is this the Wire is real, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Wire takes concepts that we think we know and they flip it. Like the cops are all corrupt, they're corrupt, but they're not, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it's not really they're just straight up bad. It's just kind of like, no, this is how they really operate, though. You know what I mean?
Uh,
And the same thing with with people on the streets. People on the streets, most of the drug dealers and stuff like that, they weren't necessarily all the bad guys. You know what I mean? There were some very clear bad guys, but all of them weren't necessarily like just antagonistic, right?
mm-hmm.
So you basically have this very gray line between of morality in this show, and it was just raw, probably one of the best shows of the early mid 2000s, and then another show I got to mention is I think I gotta do Naruto.
Um,
I gotta do Naruto. There's certain aspects of Naruto that I would definitely not recommend in terms of writing, right? Like
yeah, true.
lengthwise, you don't have to, like, it's anime, so animes are just gonna go on for some animes, not no. Matter of fact, animes are getting better nowadays. They're not all going on forever. Uh,
Yeah, I keep
but
Demon Slayer.
Naruto is one of the last ones that went on for freaking. I mean, obviously, One Piece is still out there,
Yeah,
and One Piece is great. And I'm not saying that makes the show bad because it goes on forever, but it's not a good storytelling practice to be like, oh, I'm just gonna go on forever without an ending,
mm-hmm.
because you want to tell a full story, right?
Right. It has to
So
have an ending.
right, exactly. So the thing I do like about Naruto is that Naruto knows how to emotionally gut punch you. Um, and then Naruto's magic system, the way that they use their magic system is incredible. When I say magic system, I'm not talking about like like spells specifically. I just
Mm-hmm.
mean magic system in terms of these are the abilities of characters.
Right.
Here's the rules about their abilities, and then here's how they're creatively using the rules about their abilities. Right.
Right.
Naruto was one of the best shows I've seen in terms of being creative the way they use their ability. That's why I like it so much. And a lot of people are like jaded to Naruto. They're like, but the end and blah blah blah. Look, man, all throughout that show until, yeah, I do admit at the end they started getting kind of like Dragon Ball Z level in terms of power level. But anywhere before like the final Ninja War stuff, they were incredible. I mean, and even some instances in them Final Ninja War, they were incredibly creative with how they used their powers.
True.
Especially like Naruto himself. It was like he was this like underdog guy. He didn't really know what he was doing, and then he started to learn how to use. Okay, let's use this basic power of shadow cloning, um, and let's use it creatively. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like every little aspect of that is intriguing to me. Like even the fact that when he was younger, he needed to make clones to create his Rasengan because he sucked at making his Rasengan. So he
Mm-hmm.
created clones to help him make it. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Those little details are not anything to sneeze at. That's good character building. That's good not really plot building, but that's good use of a magic system, because those fights turned out. I mean, everybody knows one of the greatest fights in any anime is freaking Rock Lee versus Gara, and
True.
I would argue the reason why people like that fight so much is because you have this godly figure versus like the most slowly human level guy, and
Mm-hmm.
yet
That
that
fight
fight,
just hit different. It just hit different
right,
for no
right,
reason.
because they basically challenged this. They challenge the status quo of how people can use their abilities to succeed in battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rock Lee is a guy who can't use or he uses pretty much only taijutsu, right? So like when he's fighting someone like Gara who barely has to lift a finger ever, you would think, oh, that's an instant win for Gara. And though
But
Gara did win in the end, it was not. It was
easy.
far from an instant win.
Yeah. And he put
Rock Lee
in
was
work.
Yeah, Rock Lee was matter of fact, if it wasn't for Guy stopping him when he was about to open the gates, I mean Rock Lee was about to
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. He was
yeah,
about
yeah.
to win for Biden. Everybody like, wait, what? How? It happens. Life
Right,
happens.
right. So yeah, so like I mean, there's different reasons for each of those shows being good, but yeah, I mean, Naruto just has an excellent use of magic systems and or the magic system and being creative with it.
Yeah, correct. That's a good list right there. All right,
Yeah.
so we're gonna go from one list to another.
Okay. Word.
I'm
Word.
sure everybody would love to know your top 3 DC superheroes.
DC. Ooh, hit me with the DC. All right. All right.
Everybody does Marvel. Why not DC?
So for DC, so this is a little difficult, and the reason why for DC specifically is because everybody in DC is so powerful, right? like,
Exactly.
they're just so like high level power. All right, so top 3, man, who is like number 1
If you
for
got
DC?
5, that's fine
Let,
too. 5 is
let me
fine.
let me start with like 3. Cause I got,
Mhm.
man, this is difficult, right? Because really high up there, I don't, okay, let me just list the list and then like try to figure out where they go. Because
Okay.
so Cassandra Cain is definitely on the list for sure. She's just one of the dopest characters in DC to me,
Hmm.
period. So I definitely gotta say Cassandra Cain. um I'm gonna say Green Lantern and then figure out which Green Lantern. I kind of want to auto say John Stewart.
Everybody loves John Stewart though.
Yeah, I love John Stewart, but then I'm thinking about characters like
Kyle.
there's Kyle. I do like Kyle. I do like Kyle. I don't think he's a favorite. I do like him, but
Hmm.
man, it's gonna be crazy. This is why it's hard. So Joe Sojourner was just was introduced in Far Sector,
Hmm.
right? But she's new. Like she's like not. She doesn't have that many. She's got Far Sector pretty much is all she's got. But she
Yeah.
was so good, and Far Sector by itself was like, yo, it was like instant favorite, dog.
Yeah. True.
So like it's so I can't. Okay, let me put Joe as like a is an honorary, like a
All right, that's fine.
like a runner up. You know what I mean? Because she's just so good. And I'm gonna say John Stewart for Green Lantern. I like Guy Gardner a lot too. A lot of people don't like Guy. Guy is my dude. Um, like I just love his like self-righteous douchebaggy. I'm gonna save you even if you don't like it, or I'll punch you in your mouth to save you kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, I really like Guy and John Stewart's dynamic a whole lot. So yeah, I'm gonna say John Stewart. And then number 3, who is number 3 on this list? Man, there's a lot of characters out there, I could say.
It is.
So Harley Quinn used to be very high on my list. I'm not gonna lie. I got a little bit jaded with all the commercial when the commercial stuff got to her, and I was just
Mhm.
like, "Oh, Harley's everywhere." But I do still like Harley. I do still really like I really like Flash. Like Flash is my dude.
I love Flash.
Barry Allen Flash. I love Wally, but I
Barry
don't know,
just hit
man.
different
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me in the CW show. I've been watching it. I
right,
love Barry.
exactly.
I do love Wally. I wish they didn't take him
Mhm.
off, but Barry.
Yeah, man. Barry's my dude. I think I'm gonna say yeah. I think I'm gonna say Flash, Cassandra, and in
John
GL,
Stewart.
John Stewart. Yeah,
That's a solid list. Solid
yeah.
list.
Word.
Mine will have to be Flash. I want to say Flash.
Oh wait, hold on. I might have to remove Flash. I just thought about something before you continue. I just thought I'm
Okay, go ahead.
tripping. I am tripping. I am absolutely tripping, especially since I've read more of this comics probably than the other ones.
Hmm.
Wonder Woman. Like
Yeah,
I don't know how that blanked out of my head, but like as soon as I thought about it, I was like, wait, duh, Wonder Woman. Yeah, my bad, Flash. It gotta be Wonder Woman in place of Flash.
yeah. Wonder Woman is actually my second one, so
Word,
I
yeah.
do love Wonder Woman. And my third will probably be should I just say Batman because everybody loves Batman. So
Yo, Batman is that dude. And
exactly.
I really like Tom King writing them. Like the Tom King run of Batman. I know some people had issues with it because I gotta be honest. Tom King, I'm sorry, yo, I love you, Tom King, for ever having a podcast. I apologize. I do not like the endings of Tom King stories. The ending,
Uh,
the endings are just like, bro, what is happening? But the journeys are some of the best. Like reading through his stories, it's like the best stuff, man. I love it,
true.
man. It's like the introspection. Like he had a comic with this Catwoman and Joker on the floor, both like dying, and they couldn't do anything to each other, so they had a conversation. And I was like, bro, how do you write an entire like a whole comic book with two people on the floor dying, talking about They were both talking about Batman. It's just like, yo, this is good.
Yeah, I don't know, but Batman is great. He's that dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Did like Nightwing a lot, Robin a lot, but Batman's my favorite. I liked him first, so I'm gonna go through with that. All right, question. Let's skip them. I guess skip one. Yes, that. No, that's pretty much it. That's all the ones I have. If you have any questions for me, I would love to answer them. Or for
Sure.
podcasts, I can do my best to answer them.
So I'm curious about the Pokemon stuff. Like, what's tell me about the Pokemon content that you're into.
Okay, see, Pokemon has been that escape from when I was a kid. I haven't had many friends. I've had one best friend passed away last year due to COVID.
Oh man,
RIP.
sorry to hear that.
But yeah, he was my next door neighbor too, which what made it interesting. Plus his mom was like my godmother. So
Word,
just hit
word.
it off. And he couldn't go outside because he was crippled. So we just go over each other's house, play Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 on the 64, and just hang out. And Pokemon has really been my favorite ever since.
Right.
I played every game. I learned so much about them. I met a lot of good people through Pokemon Go, which came out in 2016.
Yep.
Actually, I'm going to Seattle the 20th for Pokemon Go.
Word. That's what's up. That's what's up.
So it's my first trip by myself. First trip on a plane in like 13 years.
Word, word. That's what's up, man. Yo,
And
don't fly Spirit, please. Don't fly Spirit.
No, JetBlue.
Okay, word.
Yeah, and that was the first game I streamed too. So I was like, no, I love Pokemon, so I'll stream Pokemon, and the Pokemon community has helped me a lot. And I remember when I was at 50, not even 50 followers, I had like 5 followers, and that was just my friends. And then one day I get rated again. I'm almost at 600 followers.
Wow, that's what's up, man.
I got merch because people asked me for it.
Right.
What else? I just started a Patreon because people asked me for it. I didn't want to, but they're like, you should start one. I'm like, you know what? Sure. Y'all asking for it, so I might as well. And I've just made a name for myself in the Pokemon community. They call me the Squid, the Pokemon Master in New York.
Yo, that's what's up. Yo, I'm gonna have to get your Twitter and stuff like that, man. Like that. Like I was like when I was a kid, I was a Pokefoot, bro. Man, like it was yo, like it was bad. Like it was so bad that how I got off Pokemon was my parents cutting it off for me because they was like, no, this is too much. Bad. Right. But yo, I had all the Pokemon. I mean, I'm talking about first gen. Like I'm talking about the only thing I knew
blue and yellow
was red. I mean, honestly, just red and blue. Yellow came out a little bit later.
1999.
Yeah, so that was even after that. Like, or by that time, rather, I think it was out while I was still into it, but I just still just had red and blue. Like like those were just the games that I had at the time. But yeah, man, like I had all the cards, or most of the cards anyways, especially this kid stole my cards, my Pokemon cards. And my dad, to help me out, he was like, you know what? We're not even gonna sweat that kid. We're just gonna get you booster packs until you get all the ones back that he stole. And that's how I got almost every card. Dog. Like it was wild. Unfortunately, when I got in trouble for taking my cards to school, my dad he is a card gamer. Like my dad is in the nerd world too. Like he does card. So he knew which one was the he knew
the good ones.
He went specifically through the deck, pulled out Charizard, tried to rip it, didn't rip because it's foil. Yo, it hurt my soul. And it was worth stuff at the time, but obviously it wasn't. Man, me and my parents had a talk recently. They was like, you know what? Even though you were in trouble back then, we should have put the stuff up, not. You know what I mean?
Rip it. Come on.
And they made, and don't get me wrong, they didn't rip the rest of my stuff. Like they made my mom to help out, which at the time was a good lesson. You know, she was like, yo, sell this stuff at a garage sale. So I went and did a garage sale. And it was a great time. It was like great. But if we would have only known how much
how it is now. Like me, my mom, I was mad because we had to move suddenly because she didn't pay rent. And then we got kicked out. So I'm like, all right, cool. I was going home. I forgot what I was doing. I think I was running home to buy a game. I think Coliseum. And then I run home and I see nobody there. And I'm like, wait, where's everybody? Where's everything? I had $100 saved up in my drawer. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy this game. I got that $100 and I have like 40 left, 50 left at the time. And then I come out yeah, we gotta move. And I throw your desk away. And I was like, wait, my cards was in that desk. Where did you put it?
Oh
And it was already
no.
taken in the garbage. And I was like, are you serious?
Oh
You could at least let me
no.
get those. So
That is
my car's
tragic.
all gone. I was like,
Tragic. Like it's always like a parent like throwing something out or something. Because my dad said his comic collection when he went off to the military,
mm-hmm.
his mom sold his comics when he was in basic training.
Oh, are you serious,
Oh,
bro?
love my grandma Stephanie, but it was like, Grandma, why you
Why?
sell his cards?
Why?
She was like, I didn't know they was worth like that.
That's the
Yeah,
same response my mom gave me. I didn't know it was in there.
you know?
I couldn't wait. I was
Right.
literally like 5 minutes away at the time. They said they just threw it out 5 minutes. I'm like, you couldn't wait 5 minutes? Five
So
minutes.
so maybe you could be my Pokemon guy to go back to. So for a couple of reasons. Number one, I only recently sort of got back into Pokemon, right? I got
Uh-huh.
Sword and Shield when it came out. First Pokemon game. This is so you have to understand the culture shock for me.
Mm-hmm.
First Pokemon game I played since childhood. Since like Pokemon, like I think the last Pokemon game I played as a kid. I played like Stadium and Snap. Those were the
Mm-hmm.
last Pokemon games I played as a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, all the games in between, I didn't touch them, didn't even really know what they looked like, didn't even look at them really. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
So the culture shock of playing Shield and
right
walking around in
after.
the world, and I was just like, yo, I mean, this is adult me now. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, this is the game I was dreaming about when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a 3D Pokemon game, open world, Pokemon just walking around. You know what I mean? And
Right.
Arceus is even closer to that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like Arceus is
Scarlet
even more
Violet is going
real.
to be even closer.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Because I'm playing Arceus now, and I'm just like, yo, this game is this is like for real Pokemon, you know?
Uh-huh.
So like it was like a culture shock. So I kind of you know, over the years, I kind of thought about like the different things like about Pokemon, like why this, why that, like why do they let these 10-year-old kids leave their home when they're kid? You know what I mean? How does a Pokeball work? Why does that make sense? Why do Pokemon listen to you as soon as you catch them? You know, why they acquiescent? You know what I mean? So what I started doing is funny enough, when I'm not writing one of the main stories, I actually started a Pokemon fanfic, which is wild. So I have a fanfic out there. So I want to let people know in case they want to check out the fanfic. So I know like I'll be pushing my comic and that's what sells, but hey,
Yeah,
uh
you're going to get a lot of views.
y'all check out the fanfic, man. So the Pokemon fanfic is called Pokemon Urban Black. So far none of the main characters are in the book, like because I'm starting from with completely original characters.
Uh-huh.
But it's introducing the concept of Pokemon and answering all those questions I've had since childhood. Far
Okay.
more serious take on the world. Like far more like like the people who have Pokemon are using them for power. I mean, obviously they do that in the games, you Team Rocket and stuff like that, but it's
Yeah.
far more serious, right?
Okay.
The views on the league are more serious. Things like what happens to those trainers when you they don't make it. Because when you're playing a game, you have to think about it. You're going through the game, only you become the Pokemon master, right?
Yeah.
What happens to everybody else who doesn't become a Pokemon master? All these kids running around trying to catch Pokemon, you know what I mean? So we talk
Right.
about the economics, what that means if they weren't spending that time going to school, going to college, going to getting another skill. What happens when they don't become the Pokemon master, right? Or get into the Pokemon League, you
True.
know? So stuff like that is what I address in that story. So it's a serious take, not too dark, but definitely far more serious than
Regular
anything
Pokemon.
else Pokemon out there. You know what I mean? So it's been a fun little story to write. Yeah.
Okay. Neither got. I got you. I got you. I know a
Yeah.
lot about Pokemon.
Pokemon Urban. If you search exactly Pokemon Urban Black, you have to search those words exactly. If you search anything else, it's gonna bring up Pokemon Black, like from
Uh-huh.
Black and White series.
Yeah.
But if you search Pokemon Urban Black specifically, and I think with you might have said my name if you type Skirrets, then it'll come up. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I'll definitely check that out, and I'll definitely need any questions. Let me know. I'll add you on Twitter right after this.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
so yeah. Any more questions for me? I'm all out of questions for now.
No, I think I'm good, man. No, this has been great. I definitely appreciate you guys inviting me on. Love the conversation. Love talking about obviously the comics in general.
Pokemon, DC
Yeah,
heroes, all
Pokemon.
that.
Yeah, I love all that stuff. So yeah, I definitely appreciate it.
All right, so I thank you for joining as per usual. And if you have not followed, his information will be in the description below. And you can
Mhm.
follow us here on the podcast. You come to the Twitch. You can Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Geeks of the Table. Everywhere else is Geeks of the Round Table because they were taken on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
Why, I don't know. So yeah, with that being said, we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Peace.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you like and enjoyed what you just watched. Don't forget to drop a like and hit that subscribe button. And also click the bell icon to make sure that you stay notified whenever we post. That's it, fat boy. Yo, cut it off. Yo, stop playing, man. Yo, stop playing.